children, welcome back to yet another environmental studies class. We are continuing with our chapter number 13, A Shelter So High. This is part second. In part first, we discussed that how Gaurav Jani went on to a trip to Leh and Ladakh, and in order to reach Leh and Ladakh, he has to pass from so many states as he was staying in Mumbai. And then he reached Leh Ladakh at last in the last part, and every child of the Leh was following his bike Lona and welcoming him with saying Julai Julai. And one of the child, Tashi, was successful in taking him to his house. So it was a building with 2 floors. The house was made up of stones which were capped on one another, and the walls were coated with thick layer of mud and lime, whitewashed. The houses looked like a shed from inside with a lot of hay stored there on the very first ground floor when they went, and they saw that it was the hay because they keep the food for the animals there only. So they took wooden steps and reached the first floor, and Tashi said that this is where we stay. The ground floor is for our animals and for storing necessary things. Sometime when it gets too cold, we also move downstairs for the warmth. He noticed that the ground floor did not have any windows. Thick tree trunks were used to make the roof very, very strong into the house of Tashi. Then after looking down to first floor and ground floor, Tashi took Gaurav to his roof of his house. What a view! I could see some of the flat roofs all around. On some red chilies were laid out to dry. On some there were orange pumpkins and golden yellow corn. Some had stacks of paddy, and some cow dung cakes were laid out to dry. This is the most important part of our house, said Tashi. During summer season, we dry many fruits and vegetables. We store them for winter when we do not get fresh fruits and vegetables. It is impossible in Leh to get fresh fruits and vegetables during the cold season because there is already very less vegetation. So whatever vegetation, whatever they can grow during the summer time, they collect it, grow it, and then dry it and keep it stored for the winter season in order to consume during the winter season and fulfill their needs. So all the vegetables and fresh fruits are dried for winters. As I stood there with Tashi, I could see how every part of the house was built specially to suit the needs of his people. I could understand how the thick walls and a wooden floor and a wooden ceiling protected them from cold. So the houses were designed in such a way because Leh is on higher altitude. The cold is so much there. In winter especially, the temperature drops a lot. So thick walls were made in order to save them from cold, harsh winter winds, and roof was also protected with wooden. The floor was wooden, roof was also protected, and everything was designed specially. And every part of the house was like roofs were flat, so that in summer season they can easily dry the fruits and vegetables there. And the houses were with of thick walls also. So every part of the house was designed very specifically and specially. Now was the time to climb the higher. Loner had a tough time zigzagging along the, as you can see, this is how narrow the roads of Leh are, and in order to go on more higher altitude, in order to reach another place, the Loner had to zigzag. It was very difficult for Loner. So he was moving towards rocky plains of Changthang. He was going to a place named Changthang. This place is the height of almost 5,000 meters from the sea. That means it is 5,000 meters above the sea level of the ground. It is so high that it is difficult to breathe normally because as you go up, the air gets density of the air reduces, and amount of oxygen also reduces into the air. So it is difficult for people to breathe normally. So people who are already living there are used to that amount of oxygen, but people like us who are used to the oxygen on the plains, we live where on the ground, so it is difficult for us. So we have to perform some exercises in order to get adjusted to it. So he felt weak, Gaurav felt weak, he had headache. Then slowly he got used to breathing in such air. So for many days they kept wandering in this area with not a single human being inside. No petrol pump, no mechanics, only clear blue sky and many beautiful lakes around. Many days and nights passed. Loner and I kept moving ahead. So after leaving Leh, they were moving to Changthang, and between that for many days there was no human being into the sight. It was just Loner, Gaurav and his Loner were going on to these narrow paths. Now suddenly one morning I saw before me flat grassy land. Many sheep and goats were grazing there. Far in the distance I saw some tents. I wondered who lived there and what they were doing into far out place. So he finally reached some place where he could see the signs of life. Tents were there, people were roaming, there were animals and goats and sheep were grazing into the distance. So he was very happy to see that finally a human being into sight, but he wondered who are they. Now there he met Namgyal and came to know about the Changpa, a tribe living on the mountains. The Champa tribe has only about 5,000 people in it. The Changpas are always on the move with their goats and sheep. They don't live at one place, they move from one place to another. They are nomads. It is from these that they get all they need: milk, meat, skin for tents, and wool for coats and sweaters. The special pashmina wool, the pashmina shawls are made from the wools of the sheep of Changpas only. Their goats are their only treasure. If a family has if a family has more animals, it is considered more rich and more important. From these special goats, they get wool for making the world famous pashmina wool. The Changpa graze their goats at higher and colder places so that the goats have more and softer hair, the fur. They stay high up on these mountains in a very difficult condition because that is where these goats can live. This is their life and their livelihood. So these goats, these sheep only can survive on the higher altitudes in cold places. That's why the Changpas are living with them in this harsh weathers also, because if the weather fluctuated a little, or they bring their goats and sheep to some other hot weather places, the sheep and goat will not be able to survive. That's why they keep their sheep and goats into the cold conditions, and they also live with them, but they keep on moving from one place to another in order to graze them. So they call their tent a rebo. The place where they lived, it is a temporary shelter for them, which is a rebo, which is a tent. Yak hair is woven to make strips which are stitched together. These are strong and warm and protected them. This is made from the yak hair. Yak is a big cow-like, buffalo and cow-like animal found into the higher altitudes. So I saw that the strips were tightly tied with stakes. The ground is dug about 2 feet deep, so when somebody steps inside, he is able to stand. The tent is then put up around this on the higher part of the ground. As we stepped into the tent, Gaurav realized that he could stand up straight. It was not like his tent small. He saw that the rebo was big as a room of his flat in Mumbai. It was held up by 2 wooden poles in the middle. There was this opening to let out the smoke from the chulha also. Namgyal told that the design of the tent is more than 1,000 years old. The tent protected the Changpa from extreme cold. So it is specially designed in a way that it protects these Changpas from the extreme cold. Now temperature in those altitudes dropped to a very, very low level. So it goes to minus, it is less than 0 degree and goes to minus also. So this rebo keeps them warm and provides them enough warmth to survive in these conditions. So this is in the picture, as you can see, this is how a rebo looks like. 2 feet deep under, it is dug, and it is then with the help of the stones and stick, it is put on the ground, and if somebody steps inside the rebo, he can easily stand there. Now as you can see, near the rebo, there was a place to keep sheep and goats. Champas call this lekha. The walls of lekha are made up with stones. Each family puts a special mark on their own animals, like a red color or an orange color or something like that, to recognize their own animals. The women and young girls count and take the animals out of the lekha. So as you can see, this is a boundary made with stones. This is known as lekha, where they keep their animals safely, and to keep them so that the animals does not run away from that part. Now I was telling you that pashmina is obtained from this soft fur and soft skin of sheep and goat into the higher altitudes. So it is believed that the pashmina shawl is as warm as 6 sweaters. It is very thin yet very, very warm. It can pass from a ring also. So it is that thin. The goats from which the soft pashmina wool is collected are found on very higher altitudes of 5,000 meters. That means they are found with the Changpas only. In winter, the temperature here drops below 0 degree. That is, sometimes it goes to minus 40 degrees centigrade. A coat of warm hair grows on the goat's body, which protects it from extreme cold. The goats shed some of their hair fur in summer. This hair is so fine that the 6 of these would be as thick as one hair of ours. So as thick as your one hair is, That means 6 hairs of that goat is as thickness of 6 hairs of that goat is equal to thickness of a 1 hair. So those hair of goats and sheep are that fine. The fine hair cannot be woven on machines, so weavers of Kashmir make these shawls by hand. This is a long and difficult process, and after almost 250 hours of weaving, one plain Pashmina shawl is made. So one plain Pashmina shawl takes 250 hours to be done. So imagine how long it would take to make a shawl with embroidery. Just you can see in the picture, the one with the embroidery will take more hours, because a plain Pashmina is woven in 250 hours, and because the fur is very soft and everything is like it is very fine hair of the goat is used, that's why it cannot be made on the machine. So they do a lot of hard work and weave it by their hands. So Pashmina shawl is actually very expensive and yet very beautiful and very warm. Thank you so much for watching the second part. I hope you understood it very well. Do read this chapter from your NCERT book. I will come back with one more part for this chapter. Till then, be safe and take care of yourselves. Thank you.